English with Deck. I've mentioned about the deliciousness of English biscuits before. There is little, to my mind, there is little better than a delectable biscuit. Now, that biscuit needs to have the right consistency, the right texture, the right crunch, and also not be too big and not be too small. And honestly, there are so many variables at play here. Some of the smaller sized biscuits, well, they are absolutely perfect because of the amount of sweetness in there. A great example of this could be a bourbon. Those chocolate little rectangle things. If you get a really big one of those, well, it's probably going to be too much. If you get, I'm sorry, I lost my train of thought there. If you get a mini bourbon, like a bite-sized one, it's perfect. In fact, most bourbons are bite-sized. Now let's go to what I just consumed a few minutes ago. McVitie's chocolate digestive. Now these are about the size of the palm of my hand. You can get mini size, but these ones are the proper size. They're about the size of the palm of my hand. They're reasonably thin, but you have a good coating of chocolate, and the chocolate to biscuit ratio is on point. Meaning that basically, as you're eating it, the amount of chocolate in your mouth is perfectly in sync with the amount of biscuit in your mouth. And if you dunk it in your tea, it's even better. Now, just for those of you who are not aware, dunking a biscuit is the act of holding your biscuit between your thumb and finger, and you dip it into the tea or coffee, dip it into the tea so that it is partially, mind you, submerged. We don't want to get our fingers wet. And then you remove the biscuit before eating it. Today, well, I'm going to talk about the the shame to be held from me eating a few too many biscuits today. Hey guys, it's Deck here from Deck English with another episode of English with Deck. Let's go. Okay, guys, so I'm going to start with a bit of an introduction to a cool shop in Japan. It's a chain, it's very well known, very well established, and that is Kaldi. Now, if you've been to Japan before, you will undoubtedly know Kaldi. If you haven't, basically Kaldi, it's one of those shops where they sell a bit of everything, usually higher quality goods. When I say a bit of everything, I should add a bit of everything regarding food, or at least food which is of a good quality, quite desirable food. So there's nothing regular about that place. It's pastas, meats, cheeses, a bit like a delicatessen, actually. Pastas, meats, cheeses. You can get loads of different Asian curries, lots of different flavorful things. For example, you can get some sweets, some candies. What else? There's beer, wine, etc. Lots of drinks as well. But it's basically like you're going on a quick tour around the world in that shop. It's that kind of shop, an international food shop. And it's also the kind of shop where you go in for one thing and you somehow leave with pasta sauce, coffee, some crisps, biscuits, curry paste, cheese, olives, and probably a few other things in your basket. And Kaldi is nothing short of dangerous. Especially if you are going through a phase of hankering for something from your home country, or even just if you fancy a little bit of, I don't know, maybe Vietnamese food, or maybe you fancy some Italian food, especially that day. You know, I regularly see the McVitie's digestive biscuits, but I tend not to buy them. I don't know why. Like, I see them fairly often, but I tend not to buy them. I just don't go for them. If I buy some biscuits in Japan, I tend to buy. What do I buy? I don't really have a go-to per se, simply because they are reasonably pricey compared to the original back in England, which is fair. There is a transport cost, import cost, or blah blah blah. But yeah, I just don't tend to buy them that much. Anyway, some of these delectable, that word again, delectable biscuits ended up in my fridge. I am not going to say who's to blame. Simply, the reason they're in the fridge is because it's so hot if you leave them outside of the fridge, so they need to be kept cool. Anyway, as a person from the UK, McVitie's digestive biscuits, well, when you haven't consumed them or anything similar to them in a long time, they're not just a biscuit. It's more like emotional support. It's a very sort of nostalgic food. It's the kind of food you eat and it triggers memories. It feels comforting. Brilliant comfort food. And when these biscuits, ended up in my fridge, I said to myself, okay, Dick, restraint, you can do this. One a day, Max, one a day, just one. And it quickly spiraled into a pit of self-despair because I was very quickly unable to abstain from just one. Oh no. And then two came into play, and then three, and then four. And it was obviously a lie from the beginning because I found myself, well, today alone, 4 of these bad boys are now in my belly. And I kind of realized, it's a strange thing about food from home, if you will. When you miss it or you just fancy it, it could be biscuits, it could be crisps, gravy, proper tea, some baked beans, some cheese, cheddar cheese, or things that I could readily get in the UK or in Australia, for example, as well, or a lot of other countries, but I'm unable to get at the moment. And it's something that I think when you go to a shop like Kaldi, they understand their weakness and they prey on it. When you suddenly walk into that shop and then you lose all self-control and you go on a splurge, you buy this, that, and the other. Now, don't get me wrong, there is amazing, with a capital A, amazing food in Japan and in Asia in general. But sometimes you just want something familiar, something that tastes like home. So even if home is that packet of biscuits I kind of finished too quickly, I will never complain about going to Kaldi. Okay, guys. Well, I hope this episode is relatable in one way or another. And remember, English doesn't have to be difficult. See you in the next one.